G'day everyone and welcome back to Digging Deeper Ag Chats with Al. I'm really excited to kick off 2026 with you. We've just finished our first full calendar year of podcasts and I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's listened, shared an episode, sent a message or stopped me for a chat. I genuinely appreciate it. This year we're aiming to bring you even more great guests with plenty of practical conversations you can take straight back to your own operation. We'll be featuring more local producers too. People right here in our region who are doing good things, having a crack, who've got great stories worth sharing. I'm also pleased to say that we've got some regular voices returning. Chelsea from Herd Solutions will be joining us on a monthly basis with veterinary updates and timely animal health advice. And Morg from Elders is back as well, committed to a monthly livestock market update to help us make sense of what's happening and what it might mean on farm. So whether you're listening in the ute, on the tractor or in the yards, welcome back. I'm glad you're here and I hope you enjoy what we've got coming in 2026. Welcome everyone to Digging Deeper. We've got Morgs with us today. How you going, mate?
Good, Al. How are you? And g'day to all the listeners out there.
No, I'm well. It's been nice weather up here, albeit no rain at the minute. So, yeah, she's starting to dry off, Morgs.
Yeah, it's incredible, really. Like heading into Easter, it was smooth sailing, wasn't it? And everyone was flying along, and then you get, a week of wind and then some 25 to 27 degree days and we're back, cat amongst the pigeons.
Now I was throwing you a segue there to say how right you were because someone might have predicted this a couple of months ago.
Yeah, well look, as you know, I am a big follower of all weather apps. Not really, but no, just the sense was there. Anyway, look, I'm not going to get too smug about it, Al, but yeah, you're right, I was right.
And then what's your gut feel now? Are we going to be dry through winter here in Gippsland, or is this just a little blip in our season?
It might be a blip in the season. I think, obviously the good time, if we get limited rain, yep, if you got later crops and things like that, that mightn't be that fun, but there's minimal evaporation from here on in. We'll get a bit of heat and a bit of wind, but hopefully we get a bit of rain as well, and it's a little bit easier than having, that summery weather, so we can still formulate some sort of a crop and a season from here. But it might just get a bit tight. I remember maybe 10 or 15 years ago when we had a July when it was nearly blanketed in frost the whole month. If you see back-to-back frosts occurring, I'd probably suggest, we could be heading into an extended dry period.
Right. What's the thought behind that, Morgs, or is it just an observation?
No, it's, just sort of what a lot of older cockies are telling me when you get repeat frosts. Start to worry. Yeah. So prepare yourself.
Well, I think there was a hint of a frost one day there, but it's been far from it, actually. It's been very mild.
And it's not just here, we're talking about in the hills and everywhere else, There have been a few frosts in the hills and things like that, so things are starting to tighten up there too. We could be into winter. Hopefully we keep picking up the odd sporadic rainfall event and we all sort of cruise along. But, I think we're heading into a winter anyway, so you've got to be prepared one way or another. So prepare your best you can.
Well, it's interesting you said this a decade ago. I've actually got some questions here because you've been in the area for about 35, 40 years now?
Yeah, half that, yeah. I've been around for 40 odd years now, but I was a prominent South Gippslander. But I did tell my mother the other day I've actually lived in East Gippsland longer than South Gippsland, so that's it.
Well, so East Gippsland.
So I reckon my great-grandchildren will be locals.
Yep. Oh, Lindenau might even be 3 or 4 more generations yet, so if you want to be local to Lindenau. So producers over the last decade, how have you seen changes when we're coming up to dry times? Have you seen differences how producers operate now coming into dry times?
I do think, and hats off to the GAG group, I think people probably are better prepared heading into drought than what we have seen. Having said that, we haven't seen one for a little while.
No, it's been kind.
It's been open. The opportunity to access as much information as we can probably will help, and I think we'll be well positioned for that. Are we heading into a drought? I'm not saying that at all. But yeah, dry times, and we don't need to be too panicky about it. We are going to have them. We're going to face them all the way through. But I think if you're prepared, you got the ability to click into gear and move in that direction and pivot when you can, I think it's smart business practice.
Well, being prepared, what does that look like for you?
A bit of hay in the shed, value in, when you've had the ability to have your water systems set up best way you can, be it troughs or whatever else, so you're not relying just on dam water, things like that. Cattle obviously perform better on trough water than dam water as a rule. And have the ability to lock up and feed if you have to. All those methods will assist. Find a bit of adjustment if you can down south, or whatever you need to do to sort of progress forward. But don't start looking when the horse is already bolted. Be ready. Cull a bit harder into your cows. Sell a few little stock early. Should you be carrying cattle through the spring, if you're going to have to feed them, $300-400 worth of feed.
Yeah. What about infrastructure? You're seeing a fair bit more infrastructure for feeding and things like that on farms?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. There's obviously more and more grain bins getting around all the time. The close feeding crowd up in Finley, they're 12-14 weeks out on their feeders at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, to get one made. So that says to me that, there's people have either got the jitters or well and truly, just booking ahead. So, if you can bank yourself a few feeders around and things like that, does make it a little bit easier. You can still, opportunities still come in drought and dry times. You'll buy your cheapest stock in those driest times. It's a good time to buy breeder cows and things like that, because people will start selling into the family China and things like that. So you start buying better. If you got good season after good season, 2 or 3 things happen. Your cattle don't become as quiet because they're not getting hand fed, right? And times of drought, you buy pretty good quality, high quality cattle that are usually got a very good temperament.
Yeah.
So you can set yourselves up, and there's plenty of success stories that have done that too.
I was talking to my uncle the other day. He actually says there's plenty of opportunities in dry times, but there's obviously risks involved with all of that. So you mentioned they're selling off when you got a good commodity. What are the current prices doing right now? Are they starting to wane a little bit because people are getting a bit jittery?
Righto. So coming out of April, May, when we've had really, really strong results all the way through, we have seen cattle, little cattle soften. Feeder cattle soften, but not as much. But we have seen smaller steers go, sub $5 now, which we hadn't seen since sort of January.
What sort of weights are we talking when you say smaller steers?
300 to 400 kilos or 250 to 400 kilos.
Yep.
Those cattle have all softened in value. Feedlot cattle, 10 cents here, 10 cents there, neither here nor there, but on a softer trend. Cull cows have dropped aggressively.
Is there a few more coming through? Is that why?
Yeah, so not necessarily here, but all through northern New South Wales, where it is, they could nearly call it a drought now. There's been a big dump of cows in the past 3, 4, 5 weeks as they were waiting for an autumn rain. They just started selling heavily, and there's been some cheap stock up there for sure. And it's progressively gotten worse. So from 3 weeks ago, stock were okay priced, but now they've gone from $5 to $4 to $3. And I was talking to a major commission buyer this morning, and he said he's buying cattle in the mid twos there now. So,
right.
So there is a sell off. Cull cows and things like that, especially as well. They've gone from being worth $3 to $2. There was cows selling for $1 a kilo up there too this week. So that's 2 or 3 things. Processors can't get them processed as quick, which is a common theme. We would be in massive trouble if it was 4 or 5 years ago when the plants weren't up and going and firing as much as they are now. Like, everyone's running at peak capacity. 5 years ago, post-COVID and things like that, there was issues with staffing of plants, and they were all running at about 50%. And then through that, they built up their workforce and they've developed their plants and they're going for it. So they're really aggressive. So we are at full kill capacity nearly and rocking along pretty good. So to be inundated with numbers is a concern, and it can be a 5-week wait to get your cattle processed now.
What about freezer space? Is that going to fill up? Is it, or are we?
A lot of the cattle are chilled and boxed and transported all boned out there and then. So chiller space, probably not your best guy to answer that question. But I think if they're built up with their processes to handle, say, 800, 900,000 bodies a day, I think there are methods there to have the bodies broken down and sold elsewhere. There is a couple of major plants because of the Chinese tariff issue that's been raised. Obviously, there's 50%, 55% meat tariff goes on Australia into China beef. That hits when it goes 200,000 tonnes plus. There's a lot of plants trying to pack up their cattle a month early and get them processed and on the water before that tariff hits, which they're expecting to hit mid-June, I believe, into July.
Is that new agreement Australia made with China recently?
Well, it wasn't really an agreement. China just said, cop this, Chaz. How do you like it?
Yeah, because that was one of the issues the red meat sector saw, is just the volume is nowhere near enough as what we send over there, is it?
We've only ever clocked it once.
Right.
So, and we're there again. So, yeah, it's going to be an issue, for sure.
Yeah.
But then you hear that there's...
So what do you say, it's 50% or 50 cent?
55% tariff on top after.
Massive.
It's significant.
Yeah.
So, they obviously want to buy their beef cheaper or change the deal that China's got on the table. But China, with a stroke of a pen, they can fix that.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to have a totalitarian government to do it. That's all. You just need one bloke, Al.
Yeah. Who's that one bloke, Morgs?
Xi Jinping.
Oh, no, I thought you meant over here.
Sounds like a table tennis player, but he's not, Al. He's the supreme leader of China.
What about the sheep? You've been tracking along with them, have you?
Yeah. Geez, that's passive-aggressive, Al. Of course I'm involved with the sheep. But no, the sheep job's actually firing along all right. We've seen some records. We saw a record at Bairnsdale this week with the...
What is the record currently at Bairnsdale?
It's $350. Excuse me.
That is, not me this time. It's often me. But...
$350, I think, cracked Bairnsdale heavy lambs the other day and sold by a local producer, one of the 400,000 stewards that live out at Hillside, broke that record.
Sugar?
No. Sugar's old man.
Oh,
Mazza.
No,
Yeah,
got it.
Matt Sugar wasn't far behind. But no, the lambs certainly presented very well. And they sold very well. And Wyndham's boys did a fantastic job.
Yeah. Well, that they wouldn't have sold at Bairnsdale for a very long time, those two.
Oh, no, put it to them. Yeah. I think they come and they go. They saw an opportunity. Obviously, it's a good market at Bairnsdale. But, I think hats off to them. But there was an outstanding run of lambs. The best run of lambs you'll see at Bairnsdale the other day.
Yeah, good to see. Forward contracts for lambs. I heard a little birdie tell me that it might be dropping off a little bit. Is that right?
Not dropping off, but they've a couple of major processors put out forwards. Mm-hmm. Got dry, filled very quickly, and then they're thinking maybe they've taken that offer off the table for a lock-in. So I'd say the money will be there in some capacity, but it's not going to be as easy to access now. See if they're going to absorb a lot of the lambs first before they worry about opening it up again. So it filled pretty quickly.
How far out is that, Morgs?
No, they're back in through May now. It's all done.
Yeah, right.
But even contracts for kill cattle now, like one major processor, they're out till the first week of June.
Yeah.
Next one booking cattle this week. They're going to be mid-May at the earliest. So they're starting to stack a few numbers around, which is very common. But factor in the dry in the north.
As in this time of year, it's coming.
Yeah. The dry in the north. The seasonal conditions decreasing. Our ability to feed them decreasing, therefore we can't take them on any further, so we're booking cattle in to go. Yeah. So we were well positioned. You still are if you're making moves. If you're standing still, start making moves. Talk to your agent and get active. Yeah. Don't get caught out. That's just another second client ringing me. They're trying to sell cattle out.
I must be listening in. That's the second cross to your name for this podcast, Morgs.
I didn't know there was like a crosses thing. I usually have my phone turned off.
I know. What's happening? You're slipping, Morgs. Looking ahead, market over the next 6 months then.
Jeez.
This is the usual MO. You should know these questions.
Give me a scenario. I think...
So if we stay dry for the next 6 months, we're going to be in a bit of a holding pattern then, are we?
Yeah, there's not going to be a massive amount of numbers sold between here and then.
Right.
A lot of people have sold a lot of stock already, which has been smart business. The cattle that are going to get sold usually through the winter get supplementary fed anyway.
Yeah.
People will get jumpy, but I just think you got to hold course and work out what's important to feed. See, carrying cattle into the spring, I believe, if you've got feed, it's all good. And a lot of them, you smart cockies prepare for the worst, and they hope for the best, but they prepare for the worst. So a lot of them will have their cattle stacked around and they'll have surplus feed to feed them, so which is fine. And I think it's going to be good. But the one thing I do want to stress is if you haven't thought about it and you're running blind, that's a different person again.
That's 3.
Right, I've got to turn this thing off. I'll message that bloke. Can I call you later? Yeah, you just got to prepare for the worst, expect the best. And I think people are starting to get a bit jumpy with the season. Well, as you can see that.
Yeah.
And it's been like
that's
that.
What it is, you reckon?
Yep.
Yeah, people are getting nervous.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what a couple of hot days will do to you, hey?
Yep, a bit of wind.
Yep. Anything else on the sheep or cattle before we move on?
Yeah, they're not making terrible money, though. Like, yeah, okay, they're off the top. But they're making what they were making in December. And we were all bloody crowing from the treetops, weren't we, back then? So, yeah, it's a significant fall, but it's still all right. Like, you're still getting mid-7s. Okay, you go dead weight, mid-7s for a cow. That's $3.70 or $80. That's good. Chopper cows, more $2.50 to $3. Yeah, that's cheaper, but it's still okay. We have seen cattle drop $1 a kilo, in the past 3-4 weeks. So, yeah, it is a drop, but nonetheless, I think everyone's just, when the cattle job was so good, we should have probably taken more of it, but we're not selling a massive amount of numbers, luckily enough.
$11.50 for lambs, is it still, roughly?
$11.80.
$11.80.
Yeah, we saw lambs make $12 at Bairnsdale the other day, though.
Yeah, well, you can't. Yeah, you said that 3 years ago, and you would have been jumping out of your skin at.
Geez, we would have bought some crossbred ewes before then, though. We would have bought another joint and had a red hot crack, wouldn't we? If only you knew.
Sheep are a lot of work, and you don't like them, so you wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this much: I like them best when they're in the oven with a bit of mint jelly.
Yeah, lamb shanks. I met a farmer the other day. He feeds his lamb shanks to the dogs. Criminal.
Like $25 a kilo at the moment.
They're worth a lot of money. Yeah, they're one of my favourite cuts. So.
Ugh, no, slow cooked.
Yep. Now we're coming to the end, and I did message you this morning for your final question and Chelsea's final question. We're actually asking for a quote each month that you can share with our listeners. Have you thought of one? You're a quotes man. You've quoted me a few things.
I love a quote. Yeah. Mike Tyson was fighting in about the 1990, and there was this boxer that he was going up against. I think he got his head bashed in by Mike. But they're leading into it, and they, how they sit them next to each other like a couple of prize pigs.
Yeah, fight night.
And and they just say, right, what are you going to do? And this boxer's saying, how he's going to get Mike in the corner, and he's going to move around the ring, and he's going to box him. And Mike Tyson waited for his turn, and then they passed the microphone to him, and they said, Mike, well, what do you think? And he said, well, everybody had the plan till you get smacked in the face. I think it's like this drought. It's like anything. I think we've all got plans until it's actually happening to us. So I think as we roll into the winter and a dry season, make sure you've got your plans and don't get smacked in the face.
Yeah, and call out to your agents and your advisors. It's probably a good idea.
Use your network.
When you start to get a bit wobbly.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to people and go for it. Now, you do that voice very well, by the way, Morgs. You must have been practicing that one, so...
we might have to delete it, Al.
No, stayed in. Now, I've actually got sent in a couple of gifts for you because it was your birthday I mentioned on the podcast last month. And
it's not the lady I called out.
No, I never heard. She obviously got scared.
She deleted it.
Yeah, so this one's actually from me and Steph and the kids.
Righto, thank you very much.
You got to open it up now.
I've got to open it now.
No, so it's on camera.
Who wrapped it? It's wrapped out of a plastic bag.
Yeah, I ripped up the plastic bag and put it in it.
And an old fish and chip wrapper.
Yeah, that one was last night's dinner.
Fish and chips. Heat by Simon Borghese. Yeah, The Alchemy of Food.
I can't vouch for it, but we were around at your place a couple of weeks ago and you got this nice wood-fired like heater thing, and I thought, what better way than get you a cookbook? You can cook some feasts up in that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Al.
So
Thank you very much.
You and Jess can have a flick through that as well. Now, this other one here was actually sent in by a guy called Ags. You know who Ags is?
I'm guessing going to be Aaron McCall.
Aaron McCall, yeah. He said...
he didn't even come to my birthday, actually, Ags.
No.
He was at the Bucking Radio, I think.
No, he said, you might need this. He sent a little note along, said, you might need this for your day-to-day business.
Oh, a calculator, a Casio calculator.
Yeah, so he's written me a little note here and said, you might need this in your line of work. You've been making his job really hard lately. Your mass hasn't been adding up, with small lambs worth $250 and big bulls worth over $5,000. His clients are coming to him complaining, so I thought you might need his calculator. And
my big bulls are making more than that, Ags, and you should know that. But I suppose coming out of Buchan, they're probably not as good as the Yense bulls. So, pot shot to all the Buchan people. But thank you very much, Ags.
No worries. Does it come with batteries, does it?
Hey? Yeah, it does. But I can understand. I do all my calculations in my head, but Aaron needs all his fingers and toes.
Yeah, right.
And they're incredibly hairy toes, I can tell you.
There we go. Oh, Aaron, if you're listening, he got his calculator.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks for coming, Morgs.
Yep, and thank you very much for the gifts. And keep listening to us, listeners. I hope we do provide you with some sort of relevant information. Some people, my mum said it just sounds like two blokes at the front bar when she listened to this podcast. So
maybe we should do it a bit later on and have beers instead of coffee. And
then everyone will be getting called out, Al. And we're calling out a person an event.
Yeah, you
got to talk about the event for next week?
Yes. Have you got a date?
It's Wednesday night.
Yep. Chris JU.
Yourself. Yep. Finance and feeding for farmers, isn't it? That's what the night's basically called, and that's what it's based about.
Yep, and it's probably a very relevant time now. I know I was talking to Chris the other day. Cost of production is one of his key things he's going to be looking at. So looking at how much it costs to produce the article, and then how much you need to sell it for and where you need to sell it for.
And that's Wednesday next week, which will be the 5th.
5th?
I think so.
That doesn't sound familiar, that date.
6th.
6th?
Be 7 days. We'll make it the 6th, eh?
Yeah, it is the 6th.
Yeah, we'll put it on the 6th now. I'll change it from the 5th, though.
All right, I can edit that one out for you. So jump on to Facebook. The flyer will be up on Facebook on the Gippsland Ag Group's website, and book in for that. And yeah, it'll be really, really worthwhile event to attend. You get to hear Morgs in live as well, shooting some questions as well.
Acoustic Morgan.
Acoustic Morgans.
Yeah, yep. I'm live at the wireless.
Oh, rightio. Oh, very good. We'll get you a capo and you can play guitar as well if you like. All right, thanks, Morgs.
Thanks, Al.
Catch us later. A big thank you for tuning in today. And remember, if you have a question about today's episode or a topic you'd like us to cover, reach out to one of our many platforms and join the conversation. We're here because of your passion and commitment to agriculture. Together, we can build a stronger farming future.
This podcast is made possible by the Future Drought Fund Regional Drought Resilience Planning Program, co-funded by the Victorian and Australian governments.